Welcome, everyone. For those of you that don't know, my name is Jana Hooten, and I'm a three-star diamond with Plexus, and it is truly an honor to be sharing with you today. 7 years ago, I went through just a really tragic time in my life. My 16-year-old daughter was killed in an ATV accident. And obviously that was just, it's horrific, continues to be extremely difficult to walk through. But then 19 months after that, I was also diagnosed with breast cancer, went through chemo, surgery, and radiation, and then began what I truly believe was just the journey to heal from all of that. And along with the healing process, a lot of heart work, soul work, mind work, a lot of therapy. I realized the importance of mindset and how it can make or break you. It has the power to really change so much in your life. So today we're going to talk about fears and lies and how often we are believing those, and that in turn is causing us to maybe self-sabotage our business. So when it comes to lies and fears, I've heard them all over the last 10 years, and I've actually believed a few myself. I can remember really well when my first customer turned off their subscription. I was going for gold, logged into my virtual office, and saw someone had turned off their subscription. They didn't tell me. I had given them great customer service, and they just canceled their subscription. I was so upset, so down, and remember thinking, like, if people are going to quit on me, how am I ever going to grow? It was a lie I told myself, a fear that I had, and I had to work through it. And so we're going to work through some of those today. I learn best by example. And so I love to hear examples of how this has played out in other people's life. So I want to share with you an example of how this has most recently played out in my life. It is not a Plexus business example. We're going to get to those, but it's more of a personal thing, that a personal event that I went through that will actually show you how I chose to believe two lies for a very long time. One of those lies I was telling myself, and the other was a lie that someone had told me, and it's literally kind of unknowingly impacted me for several years now. So I told you that I had went through a cancer journey. Well, fast forward to just a few weeks ago, we were on Leaders Retreat. My husband and I were at Leaders Retreat on the beach, and we also happened to be celebrating my 5-year cancer anniversary, which really is a celebration. For those of you that have walked through that or have walked with someone who has walked through that, the 5-year mark is a huge accomplishment. So while we were there celebrating, we were on the beach and we were having a great time and we were talking about it, and I'm just feeling very grateful. I also told my husband that I really, though, wish I could work on my health. I've had doctors mention to me several times some things I need to do because of all of the treatments that I had done, surgeries that I had to have. I actually put on some weight. I gained around 30 pounds. I have tried off and on for several years now to lose that, to really regain all of my health. But I told him that day it kind of felt hopeless. My body has changed so much, been through so much, and I give up. I don't think it knows how to lose weight anymore. I said that. As soon as I said it out loud, I knew it was a lie I had been telling myself, but it was the first time I had voiced it out loud. And when I heard it, I knew right then, my body may be different, but I can improve it. I can continue to regain my health and make improvements. And it was at that same moment that another lie I was actually told years ago came out of my mouth. Years and years ago, before any of this had happened, an acquaintance in my life had told me about her mother-in-law who had recently passed from cancer. I remember giving my condolences, and then she proceeded to tell me that before her mother-in-law was diagnosed, her mother-in-law had lost a lot of weight. I don't know how she lost the weight. I don't know what she did to lose the weight, but her mother-in-law just said, that's probably why I got cancer. When she told me that story, I remember thinking, that's kind of odd. I doubt that was it. But some reason that story has always had a little voice in my head. And it's funny how that happens. I really never thought of it anymore until I received a cancer diagnosis. And that's just what happens when you go through something like that. When you hear anything like that, or you remember hearing anything like that, your ears perk up and those memories come back to you. For some reason, that story has just always stuck with me. Somewhere buried in the back of my head, it's always had a voice. So over the last 5 years, I believed it. So the way it would look like in my life was the last 5 years, since I went through all my treatments, I've been cancer-free. I want to stay cancer-free. So I also want to reach my health goals. So I would start reaching for them. I would start doing all the things I knew to do. And while your health is not measured necessarily on the scale, I knew that was part of my health journey. And it was something that I was, my doctors were recommending for me. And so I would lose a few pounds, and then this story would creep in, and I would self-sabotage and go eat all the chips and queso I could because I was scared. I would get scared because my body's cancer-free. More than I want to lose weight, I want to stay cancer-free, which makes complete sense. But I chose to believe a lie. I chose to believe the lie that I couldn't have both. I chose to believe the lie that I couldn't stay cancer-free and also really work to regain my health in every area. So I would just say, nope, we're just going to keep things just like they are because my body's cancer-free at the moment. I told my husband that story on that trip, and I told him it was the first time I'd ever shared that story with anyone. And when I shared that story with him, as soon as it came out of my mouth, literally the story no longer had control over me. I realized in the moment how that story did not even line up, how it did not make sense. And I had chose to believe that story for so long, even though somewhere down deep, I knew it wasn't accurate. I knew it wasn't good information. Everyone knows that all the studies show that being healthy, improving your health, including trying to be at a healthy weight, is one of the best things you can do post-cancer. It's one of the best things you can do to improve a reoccurrence rate. And so little by little, though, I was telling myself that lie. And so that day on the beach, God really spoke to my heart. And by speaking that lie out loud, God reminded me that He's the author of my life. He determines my days. And my job is just to do the best with those days He has given me and to improve my health to the best of my ability. So don't mistake this story to be about weight loss or health goals, because it is not. The reason I share this story is because it's had a profound impact on me the last little bit. I did not even realize how big of an impact it was having. I came home, fresh determination, weight lifted off of my shoulders. I have implemented exercise, eating healthy, and of course, all my Plexus supplements that I have taken, and I'm down about 9 pounds and feeling better than ever. I have more energy than I have had in years. So it's, again, not about weight loss. That's not what that story was about at all. I want you to see the power of naming the lie, the power of bringing it to the light, the power of choosing a different perspective. I want you to see the power in that and how that can change everything. So sometimes lies create fear, and fears actually can create lies. I believe they really go hand in hand a lot of the time. And they both can cause you to self-sabotage your goals without even realizing it. So we're going to take just a minute and we're going to dig in here for just a little bit. The first thing you have to do is identify the fear or the lie that is holding you back. These could be things, like I mentioned, that you are telling yourself, or maybe a lie that someone has told you and you are choosing to believe. So I want you to keep that in mind when it comes to identifying them. So some of those in your business might be some of the ones I've heard over the years, and I've heard a lot. It might be the fear of what other people think. It might be that these products were a fluke and worked for me, but they probably won't work for others. It might be that someone quit, so everyone's going to quit. Or I don't have influence, or I'm not a salesperson, or I still have health problems, or I can't sign people because I don't know enough people, or I can't sign anyone with influence, or I don't have blank as an upline or a downline. Maybe I don't have an upline that works. I don't have a team that works. I'm doing everything and it's just not working. You get to fill in the blank. The next thing you have to do after you have identified it is you have to find a way to shift and find a new perspective. So I could give so many examples of these, but one of them is, I'm trying to pick which one. It really takes that fear away. It causes it to go away because they're not saying no to me. They're saying no to Plexus. Maybe it's I'm not a salesperson. Well, we can teach you how to market. I think all of us are marketers in some way. When we love something, we share it. When you love helping people, you are automatically a great salesperson. So just remember that there's always a different perspective and a different way to look at these things. The next and most important thing that you have to do is that it has to be spoken out loud. So this is part of your homework for today. After you've identified it, you have looked at what a different and new perspective could be, then you need to speak it out loud. And you need to then, I want you to put it on paper. I want you to actually put that lie or fear on paper. The next thing you're going to do is then you're going to send that to someone that wants to see you succeed in this business. It could be an upline, it could be a sideline, a friend, a spouse, but just remember, here's the key to this part. It has to be someone you know will not coddle your fear or coddle your lie. We all have those people in our lives as well that just say, well, maybe that is true. It's okay to throw in the towel. No, you need to send it to someone who will challenge it and challenge it in a loving way. So I want you to then have a conversation with that person about how you are going to overcome that fear or how you are going to choose a new perspective around the fear or the lie that you have been believing that will then help you to move forward. So once you've done that for today, I want you to comment in the comments. I want you to comment with, I face my fears. Remember, you can't always control the thoughts that pop into your head, but you can control whether you choose to dwell on them and believe them. You can take every thought captive. Today is actually really hard work because it is soul work, but it must be done to move forward. I'm expecting to see a lot of chains broken today. A lot of you are about to throw off lies and fears that no one but you even know about. You're about to bring them to light, realize the hold they have had on you, be able to change your perspective, and then literally kick those lies and fears to the curb and move forward and see some growth in your business. So let's do the soul work together today. I'm praying for you, and let's go kick some lies and fears together.